type of life, connected to something physical. They also maybe will do well developing their own structure. So if you're trying to follow somebody else's fitness fads or diets, somebody else's structure, that may not work for you. You're very structure oriented because the musculoskeletal system is our structure. So developing your own structure will be correct for you. So think about that when it comes to your health. And also think of the focus that you need to have on the physical plane. You're not someone who's just up there in the clouds, a little fairy. You're very practical. You're very connected and rooted to the earth. This is also the root chakra. So if you are into chakras, think about root chakra. Think about the earth element. So when you talk about astrology, think about the earth element and all of its significance. That's this line 1. Right? If you have a point 1, and your posture is not very good, I would definitely start there. So not only is posture a good place to start in general, but this is very, very much connected to the posture of your musculoskeletal system. All right, cool. Let's move on to line 2. So if you have a decimal, point 2, then this is very different than line 1. Now we're in the second chakra, so it's more emotional and it's related to water. And this is also the lymphatic system and fluids and liquids. So very much like you said, Dennis, in regards to line 2, from a numerology perspective, in human design, this is also about water. It is also about fluids. And this is about your relationships. And not the movement like powerlifting and extreme sports, but this is more like Tai Chi and walking and, putting on the music in your living room and dancing however you want. This is the feeling of movement or the feeling of rhythm and flow. And this is the kind of thing that your body is, I don't want to say starving for, but I would say needs if you have a point 2 in your design sun and earth. You know how we're 70 or 80% water as human beings? So you really love to express how that water moves in your flow, in your spinal movements or spinal, what do you call that? Yeah, just people like this could be dancers, right? The fluidity of that type of movement. So swimming, dancing, the type of rhythm and flow, it can seem effortless. These are what the line 2s are really good when it comes to fitness and health. The line 3. All right, let's move on to line 3. Line 3, if you have a decimal point 3, this now gets a little bit more active. So because we move from the water element now to the fire element. So this is when that water gets charged up with fire and it becomes steam. So this is what might power you to go from Tai Chi to running or to something more dynamic. If you have a point 3 like me, you need exercise, like weights, running, cycling. It's cardiovascular in nature. And when I say cardiovascular in nature, I mean something higher than 60% intensity, right? So you get past 55%, 50%, now you're really in the foundation of this line 3 movement. The blood needs to be pumping. The sweat needs to happen. Your heart needs to be working hard. And this energy also loves change. So if your health and fitness is stagnant or you're doing the same routine over and over, you're going to get bored and it's actually not going to benefit you at all. So line 3s need to get regular exercise and change it up. So you love the interaction of different things because you're not only moving and helping your body be healthy, but you're stimulating your mind. It loves change. It loves interacting with different things and learning at the same time. Actually, some of these people with line 3, if you're like me, you may actually get more clarity for your mind and your mental health through that running, through that exercise. All right. Let me take a break here and see if anybody has questions before we go to line 4. Because all of these have been those personal lines where it's you and your body, and it needs to be the focus of where you put your health and fitness. Any questions so far?
Absolutely. So, hey, so I just want to make sure I'm looking right because I'm looking at these numbers. So it's like 32 point whatever. I'm looking at the point at the back number. Like, so in your design, I mean, in your PTR, that's point, is that 0.3? Is that what that means? Or am I looking in the right place? Okay. Okay, I'm just making sure. And we went over the first block, the second block, and then we went over the third block, and those were the point numbers, right? So, so for example, I seen 0.6 in that third box. You mentioned 0.3, but how many numbers can it go up to? Up to 0.9 or up to point?
It can only go up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6.
Exactly. Okay, and every point means something.
Yes.
I want to know what 0.6 means. And then my phone rang. Okay, now again, I'm late. Did you go over like what different points mean, or you're just kind of pointing that out? Because if so, I want to catch what 0.6 means.
Hey, you not me. I just went over 1, 2, 3.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to ask any more questions on this platform. I'm just going to talk to you later. Period. Forget it.
I help you out. But I already went through 1 through 3, 4, 5, and 6 are coming up.
No worries. Okay, I'm muted.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, so you said 0.2 is focused on the second chakra, which is sacral, and it's the relationship with water. So the Tai Chi movements, and it's more like releasing and moving energy throughout the body will help 0.2 health wise.
Yes. So 0.2 is definitely need water.
It was all about the regulation of energy and emotion, energy to get it out, because backing that up will hurt the 0.2s essentially.
Oh, most definitely. So, so it's also connected to the sacral chakra and emotion. So if you're holding in emotions and hoarding that energy and not moving it out, and this is, remember, the 0.2 is not the dynamic intensity of the 0.3. So if you're feeling sadness or frustration, right, emotional energy, it's about moving more in a dance or Tai Chi or walk, or including of like whole body movement, swimming, right? This could even be in the shower where you're listening to music and you're getting the energy out in a more flow state, versus the 3, which is the dynamic running, jumping, skipping rope, like that. So, did that help, Lorenzo?
Yes, it helps. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool. And Vera, I just saw your text. So that's a 0.3, the chart that you sent me. So that has more to do with the fire element when it comes to exercise and when it comes to health. They need to be able to, if someone's angry, they need to be able to go and do some boxing, or they need to be able to go and run. They need to be able to release their energy in a way that is pumping the blood, the cardiovascular system, and getting them to sweat and raising the heat in their body.
That resonates. Okay.
Yeah. Welcome, Sam. Thank you. Happy Monday, y'all. I don't have any questions. I'm just following along. Cool. Let's go to 4, 5, and 6. And then we got to get to the astrology houses. Then we put it all together and see if this resonated with y'all. Right? So if you're just joining us, we started with numerology and the health concerns with Dennis. Now we're talking about your mind in the human design chart on the sun design side. And we just covered the first 3 lines, and now we're just talking about the next 3 lines. So the next three lines are what we call transpersonal lines. They're more concerned when it comes to health and when it comes to your well-being with how you are in relationship to things outside of yourself. So the line 4 is correlated to breath. So we go from fire element now to air. And the 4 line is related to your respiratory system. And it's how this relates to being in relationship with others and things outside of yourself is your health and well-being is directly connected to you being able to be connected or feel connected to everything else, because everything in life that is living is breathing. So via the breath, via the resonance of knowing that everything is breathing, the trees are breathing, the ground is breathing, you're breathing, that something in you for core stability in regards to your health has to feel connected to other things that are breathing and living just like you, because the 4 line likes to be connected to other people. That's why friends are so important. Community is so important. Tribe and network is so important with this line for your health, for your well-being, for your vitality, right? These are not just people that are making friends just because. They need the people and the things that they're connected to in their life in a communal way to feel connected, to feel that deep into the heart of other people. The 4th line is the heart chakra. Okay? So as it relates to exercise, definitely things where your respiratory system and your heart are engaged that bring you joy, that have you create intimacy. Maybe this is connecting your fitness with an accountability buddy. Maybe this is you doing group fitness together. Maybe this is you going to health groups where you connect with other people that are talking about the same health concerns that you have. But this is the connection in a communal way with others. It's really important to you. And breath work, clearly breath work. And this is not to say that the health work will not suffice for other people. This is just to say this is a primary core element that must be there for these lines. All right, so now we move to line 5 and we get to the throat chakra. This is connected to your nervous system. This is connected to your voice. If you have a 0.5, your voice is extremely powerful, and it's connected to your thyroid. It's connected to the parathyroid. It's connected to the systems in your body that are going to keep you healthy from a metabolic place, right? These are people whose health and wellness can be channeled through their voice, meaning they need to be able to use their voice. So if you've ever been told to shut up and be quiet, and you know you have something to say, and it's just natural for you to get that energy up and out of your throat, or this is someone who's very creative, and you've been told to shut down your creative arts, but you know that's a natural expression of your creative energy, then your health is going to suffer. This is connected to singing, chanting. These people might be the people that are humming. Right? And just humming helps your body feel better. This might be somebody that speaks quote unquote light language, right? And you can manipulate the frequency of health in your body through your voice. You're someone that might also be able to change the vibration of food and water and things that you eat via your voice. So pray over your food if you believe in that. Use your voice to raise the vibration of what it is that you're eating or what it is that you're calling forth through health with your body. Your voice is very powerful. All right, so let's go to line 6. Line 6 is the last one of these lines. And the line 6 is related to the intention in the cells. It's like the code that you've been programmed in your DNA. It is the bridge between, you know, where we say like, oh, I'm ascending, I'm transcending, I'm going 5 deep, blah, 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 blah. Oh, the intention inside of you that even knows that that's possible is coming from this line 6. So if you're wanting to evolve your health, if you're wanting to feel better, look better, do better in your health, the line 6 is the intent in your cells that knows that's possible. It's connected to the endocrine system, your hormones, and it also is a bridge for the next archetype that you're evolving to. We don't just transcend and disappear. We go to the next archetype. So line 6 be a bridge connecting your health and well-being to the next level, where you start back at the ground, at the foundation of a line 1. So line 6 is like that vision of what is possible. So for me, an example would be when I had spinal injury, I had to use intent for what is possible if I cannot walk, if I'm crippled, if I'm on disability right now. This is just my reality right now, but what is possible? What is the intent that I am going to believe in myself for where I'm going next? That's line 6 energy. So if you have line 6 in your design sun as the decimal point, visioning is going to be really good for you. Make sure that you are mastering the vision that keeps your intention in your cells for where you're going a high vibration, like vision beyond your wildest imagination. If you think that you're quote unquote stuck with an autoimmune disease right now, or you're stuck with a quote unquote disease and you have a 0.6, take it to the next level. What is really possible? It's about seeing that in your mind's eye before it becomes reality. But you have to believe it. And so this line 6 is how we can literally activate the next intention in our DNA, right? So that we're not repeating the past or repeating stuff that we just inherited. It also takes time. So if you have a 0.6, one thing that's really important is to have patience with yourself, right? Hone the intention and then allow it to unfold and be patient with yourself, because this could take time. This could be core stability in your health that maybe you struggled with most of your life, but then in your 50s, you start seeing some kind of stability, because the line 6 takes time. The line 6 has to go through all of the other lines before it fully expresses itself. So if you have that 0.6 in your sun on the design side, just trust, if you're younger than 40 years old, trust that you might blossom in your health and fitness later in life, and that's okay. Just what is the word? As you go through the experimental phase earlier in your life, take it easy. Take it easy. So, I wanted to say for the line 6, I think so. That's a wrap for the line. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 are personal. 0.4, 0.5, and 0.6 are transpersonal. Any questions?
I have a question, Miss Teacher.
Go ahead, Dennis.
So you were talking about the line 5. I'm on the design side. I'm a line 5. So I do identify with the constantly using my voice, humming, singing, talking, laughing, and this is all by myself, just around the house, just doing things like that. So I definitely identify with that. But can you give more clarity on how, like, what are some of, what is this all connected to health-wise? You talked mostly about the voice. So how is this relating to, like, different things that maybe a line 5 should be aware of?
As it relates to health concerns or health markers.
Yep.
Okay. So I would say this is also the metabolism. I would say this could be obviously like throat stuff, but it could also be connected to nose and ears and mouth. This could be I wanted to say low blood pressure, but not necessarily. Respiratory issues in general. So it could also include lungs. Oh no, that was line 4, my bad. Nervous system issues. Sorry. Nervous system issues. So it could be like you talked about in regards to, I think it was number 5, anxiety and mental health. This could also be, shoot, I mean, if it's a nervous system issue, anything in the spine that could radiate out as problematic through the arms, through the legs. But this is frequency. This is frequency power or frequency detriment. So line 5, when it relates to frequency, it's like if you're around a lower frequency than what is vital and healthy for your body, you will feel it. And you may just need to say, I gotta get out of here. This is related to your nervous system being able to pick up information in your environment through an awareness that's subtle into the frequency. It's also related to a wisdom. So it's like health and fitness wise, you may know that something is good or not good for you, but there may not be quote unquote scientific proof, but you just know because you're acutely aware of pain or pleasure in your body and how or what your brain and your body needs. It's just this like this knowing, this wisdom. So my question would be, do you listen to it? So it's not just voice projecting outward, but it's voice internally giving you wisdom. This could also be, last thing I want to say, Dennis, it just came up for me. The line 5 is the ability to penetrate what other people could use to help them with their highest potential. And do you use your voice in a healthy way, helping the right people? So, for example, if you're out there telling people about themselves because you can see into the other, but they're not wanting to receive it, and they're telling you to be quiet, they're telling you that you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, it's just because you're not engaged in the right relationship. Remember, lines 4, 5, and 6 are all about the connection to things outside in a healthy way. So this would be more about who are the people in your life that are respecting you, honoring you, able to receive the wisdom that you have and acknowledge you for it.
Okay, yeah, I do resonate with a lot of that. See, that goes into the when you say I can feel things out and I just know what's correct for me. I know I do have that dominant feeling in human design, so that's my dominant sense anyway, cognitive sense. And so I guess that would be going along with the 5 line. I heard you talk about earlier about changing the energy of your food and changing the energy of what you get by what you say. And I do this, and I don't really mention that I do this, but there's certain things that there's certain words I don't even say. There's certain actual elements that I don't even say the words of, because I tend to believe that the more you talk about something, the higher likely you are to run into it or attract it to you. So there are various words that I won't say. So when those topics come up, I'll figure out a way around saying the actual words. But that's one of my, that's not scientific. Just because you don't say a word doesn't mean it won't happen. But that's just part of my arsenal. And so a lot of things relate to, in my mind, speaking things into being or not speaking things into being, lowering my chances of attracting it versus heightening my chances of attracting it. So there's that. You mentioned the metabolism. I don't know if you meant slow or fast, but I've been told I have a fast metabolism. I'm a skinny bug. So very interesting. Good stuff.
That's really interesting. Do you know, speaking of fast metabolism, do you know if you have, you don't have 34. Okay. I was just trying to do some quick research. The fastest channel on the chart, I thought maybe you have that, but nope.
I wanted some of this like body stuff that I've got is, you can see that more in the numerology and the astrology as far as the bodily conditions. So I'm thinking that's where some of this other stuff is coming from.
All right, so I tag back to you for the astrology houses. If there aren't any other questions about the lines in your design sun.
No questions? Well, before we get to the next step, you are listening to a lot of car horns in the background. You're listening to Core Confidence Lifestyle, part of the Core Confidence Life System. You are listening to astrology, numerology, and self-discovery in here. So if you share the room and follow the club and tell all your friends about it, we are talking about astrology and human design as it relates to your health. And we are definitely giving a broad overview of that, which I went through the numbers a little earlier. Elaine just finished talking about the lines, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about how you look at health in your astro chart. But if you want a full, robust reading from us, then certainly contact us for that tag team reading deal, right? So, and you don't have to talk about health. You can talk about anything else you want when it comes to the tag team reading. You're not required to talk about health. You can talk about relationships. You can talk about your general life path with that tag team reading. Top of the page, you can get your HD chart. And we are here. Any questions before we move forward?
I have a question regarding the 0.6.
Sure.
Regarding the 0.6, I know it's about intention. When we are setting the attention, did you mean like I'm going on a run to reduce my blood pressure, or intention of, in general, thinking about good health in general? Like, is it specific to what we're doing, or it's in general thinking about wellness and health, and then that will come? It could be either, because with the line 6, there's a very, I guess you could say, a shadow side of it, of being caught up in the vision, like just the dreamy, let me just do vision boards, let me just imagine. That's part of it. Especially if you have a line 6. Like, for example, if you have the 6.6 in the sun or the earth or in your nose, you're someone that comes into the world and you know that you have a big mission and purpose here. It's almost like your mission and your purpose is bigger than your body and the vitality until you get to be later in life because of the maturity that you have to go through. So the intention is connected to, you came with a big intention to be powerful, impactful, and almost like the leader of the new human of where we're going. But when you're younger, you don't have the physical development to sort of support yourself in that vision. So you have to grow into it. And that's when you try a bunch of different things, because you feel this big vision inside of you and you're trying to make it happen. And the patience it requires for this vision and this intention is what helps you finally see it in your late 40s, 50s. Because number one, you've gathered the experiences along the way to help you put that together. Number two, the intention has been there the whole time, right? It's not that, oh, you're creating the intention. These things are in you. That's why it says you were born at 0.3, 0.5, 0.6. You came with an intention. And so it could look like, all right, let me get out and run. Why? Because I just have to make sure that my body is going to stay supportive for this long life that I have, right? And then the second way it could look is, I believe that we can eradicate the C word, that it no longer exists on the planet. It could look like that intention. And then for you, you have to go look in your lineage and your family, and you see a lot of people may have had some stuff or struggle with that, and you have to know and believe it stops with you, and do all the things in life, practically speaking, because the line 6 includes the practicality of the line 5. It includes the breath work of line 4. It includes the dynamic movement of line 3. That's why it takes time for line 6 to fully blossom. Right, so the intent is to stay true to the vision and make sure that you are saying to yourself, I'm going to have to intentionally eat this or move this way or take care of myself in this way so that you live long enough to see that line 6 blossom.
Yes, absolutely makes sense. And not to complicate things, but on the other side, I have a 0.3, so it kind of sounds like the running is a piece of that as well. But that helps you when I'm setting the intention.
Oh, that's beautiful. And especially what you picked to me the other day about what you're going to get to do physical movement.
Exactly.
Can I share that with folks?
Sure.
So another way, if you have a 0.3, another really good exercise for your health and wellness, if you enjoy it, is rebounding. Because the line 3 is also connected to the lymphatic system. And you have to move the body for that lymphatic system to do its job. The lymphatic system will not work unless you pump it. So rebounding is a great dynamic exercise for the line 3s and for all the things that that stands for. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Elaine. That was great.
All right, that's what's up. Any other questions before we continue? All right, so when we move into, so far we've covered numerology, and we talked about specific challenges that people may have based on their life path or birth date number. They also pull body parts and so forth. We just did human design. Now, when we look at astrology and health, there's a whole field called medical astrology. There's actually a room that's been waiting to be done on the calendar called the Intro to Medical Astrology that we have up on the calendar that we've been delaying, but we're going to do it. One of the main, it's going to be a complex thing when you talk about medical astrology. However, well, the two main things we look at is we're just starting out looking at health concerns in the birth chart. The two places we start out is the first house and the sixth house. Right? Before we get all complicated and everything, the first things we think about, why is it the first and the sixth? So the first house, is the physical body. So it is the health, the state of the physical body, what it's doing. And we know that the ruler of the first house signifies you. So for example, I have an Aquarius ascendant. So Saturn, because we're doing traditional rulerships here, Saturn is me because I have an Aquarius ascendant. Saturn is me. So the condition of Saturn, on top of whatever's going on in my inside the first house, the condition of Saturn is going to play a large role in the health or condition of my physical body. We'll get to that in a second because, of course, we'll be using the as an example. The second house you would look at would be the sixth house. I'm sure everyone knew that because we call it the house of health and service, right? But health is a nice word for it. The sixth house is the house of illness. So when you look at the sixth house, you look at what some of the potentials are that can harm the body. It is the enemy of the body, the physical enemy of the body. So the conditions of the sixth house can speak to the probability or ease that particular ailments may befall you or not. And even if it's not anything major, you can look at the sixth house and go, oh, okay, that's there. Like I have a Jupiter in the sixth house. We'll talk about that. So just understand that the if you want to get a decent idea
on health conditions in the chart. Now, on top of that, every sign and every planet is a significator of the parts of the body. Some of them have co-rulerships of parts of the body, or internal organs, external organs, functions, things like that. So when you look at, let's say, the first house, I have a first house, that's an Aquarius, so we know that my body is Saturn. And so Saturn is sitting in the 8th house in Virgo retrograde. That sounds kind of nasty, doesn't it? So, so when you look at your health, you're looking at, of course, in the first house, what's going on in the first house, and what is the first house ruler doing? The Lord of the first house. What condition is the Lord in? And then you look at the 6th house. What's going on in that 6th house? And aspects to the Lord of the 6th house. So the Lord of my first is Saturn. As an example, the Lord of my 6th is the moon, as an example. And I got stuff going on in the 6th. So I know it's a little complicated, but that's what we do it. So I want to quickly run through the best way we can do it, because it's a little complicated. So the best way I can do it, so I want to get like a good idea on what the body is like through astrology, I'm going to run through the signs and the body parts that they deal with, and then I'll run quickly through some of the planets and what they deal with, because you have to put them all together as a little puzzle. So, you know, with the numbers, it's easy. Oh, numbers from this. With astrology, you got to put together the puzzle. 6th house, my 6th house is Cancer. Jupiter is in there, and the ruler of the 6th house is the moon. What condition is the moon in? Well, my moon is in detriment. I'm not giving myself a good prognosis here, so I'm going to shut up and go back to the list here. All right. So we're going to start from Aries, and let's see. So Aries, of course, is the ruler of the head, face, teeth, tongue, hair, arteries, and blood. So anything Aries, if you got Aries on the 1st or 6th, take a look at that. See the condition of that. Taurus, of course, ruler of the sinuses, ears, neck, throat, vocal cords, tonsils, and thyroid. All right. A lot of y'all know this stuff because we talk about this stuff all the time. Gemini is the ruler of the shoulders, lungs, bronchial tubes, arms, hands, and capillaries. All right, Cancer. Cancer is ruler of the breast, diaphragm, womb, lymphatic system, vagina, stomach, and the right eye. All right, Leo, ruler of the heart, circulation, blood pressure, spine, back, and the left eye. All right, Virgo, ruler of the digestive system, pancreas, small intestines, eyes, ears. See, some of these signs have co-rulerships over some of these things. Libra, the kidneys, bladder, the sense of touch, insulin, veins, and lower back. All right. Scorpio, ruler of the reproductive organs, genitals, prostate, rectum, colon, urethra, pubic bone, and urinary tract. All the fun stuff. Sagittarius, liver, sacrum, lumbar vertebrae, hips, and thighs. Up between those hips and thighs. Capricorn ruler of the skin, hair, ligaments, tendons, joints, knees, spleen, and bones. And of course, this is a sub-significator of the teeth. All right, Aquarius, the shins, calves, ankles, forearms, and circulation. There's a few of these circulation things in here. Pisces, rule of the pituitary glands, the production of endorphins, blah, blah, blah. Pineal gland, production of melatonin, and feet. Okay, so that's the whole body. So that's what you get when you go from Aries to Pisces. In the order, you get it from basically head to toe. So you look at, keeping it simple now, which one of these is in your sixth house and your first house, and what's going on in there, right? So then we're going to take a peek at the planets, because the planets also control things, okay? Okay, the sun is heart and circulation. Moon is digestion and lactation. We talked about the moon a little bit when we talked about the number 2, because that's the moon and that's digestion. Okay, Mercury is respiration and nervous system, and moon is a co-significator of the number 4 in numerology, so that's also respiratory. All right, Venus is the glandular activity and female sex organs. All right, Mars is muscular activity and male sex organs and arterial circulation. Venus is Venus circulation. Okay. Jupiter is about growth and assimilation, and Saturn controls maturation and aging. All right. Uranus is electrical impulses, and it's a significator of the nervous system again. Okay, Neptune is a super sensitivity. All right. The body's regenerative processes is, of course, controlled by Pluto. So all of that, you got to put all that together, but we're keeping it simple, right? So we know that, just to give you an example, looking at the condition of the first house, that's the body. What's the condition of the body? So in my case, it's Saturn, because it's Aquarius. So what's Aquarius doing? What's the Saturn doing? What's my Saturn is in the 8th house. It's in Virgo, and it's retrograde. So what is Virgo? Right. Digestive system, pancreas, small intestine. We talked about earlier that I do have digestive stuff going on because I'm a life path 2 with 2 birthday. Here again, we have consistency because the Saturn is in Virgo retrograde. Not the best condition for Saturn, but Saturn symbolizes my body, because the rule of the ascendant. And here we have digestion popping up again here because Saturn is in Virgo. So for the 6th house, we see in my example, my 6th house is in Cancer. So once again, that's the moon. Again, that's digestion. And also there's Jupiter in the 6th house. You know that Jupiter controls growth and assimilation, and also diseases of excess. Growth and assimilation is not always a good thing when you have Jupiter not doing very well. Jupiter is retrograde, but it is exalted in my case, so there's a little bit of protection there. But Jupiter also is a significator of diseases of indulgence and excess. So with Jupiter in Cancer, controlling food and digestion, just be careful. And of course, I'm speaking to myself, right? Just be careful about what you eat. There's a sweet tooth proponency there, and just have things to do with food itself, because we're talking about cancer. So just as a briefing, that's kind of how you look at how you delineate, get an idea of what's going on in your chart health-wise with the 1st and the 6th house. And I know I said a lot, but yeah, we can kind of talk about it now a little bit.
So I have a question. The one the person in the sixth house, you don't pay any attention to the planets that might be there, just the ruler of the house.
No, you do both. When you look at the houses, you look at everything that's going on in the house, and then what the Lord is doing. So in the sixth house, I've got Jupiter in the sixth house in Cancer. So I would look at what does that mean? What does Jupiter in the sixth house in Cancer mean? And then look at the ruler of my sixth house, which is the moon. In my case, I'd be looking at the moon sitting in the 12th. What's the condition of the moon? In my case, it's in detriment.
Thank you. Hey, you get Neptune again real quick.
Neptune. Let's go back to Neptune. Neptune is super sensitive on psychic impulses. And also Neptune can control like the fluids, the bodily fluids, because it's related to Pisces, so allergies, sniffles, colds, things like that, things that are Piscean nature, the psychic, the sensitive impulses. And of course, if Neptune is conjunct something concerning your health, you know that's going to be a signification of a weakness in that area in that area. So, for example, speaking of the health, we always look at the sun, the condition of the sun. I'm giving away all my health shit here. So I got the sun is conjunct Neptune. That's not great. The sun is the heart, and it's conjunct Neptune, which can weaken that area of the body. So yeah, that's kind of what Neptune is.
Thank you, Dennis.
Yep. And of course, we always look at the aspects too, right? Because there's a difference, right? And something trining versus something squaring. And the trines and the squares, depending on what kinds of trines and squares those are, those need to be delineated. But just in general, the aspects is part of the condition of a planet. So when I mentioned that, Cancer is the moon is digestion. I have the moon in the 12th house in detriment. That's not going to look good for digestion and processing. And it doesn't. So we always look at the condition of the Lord also by house, sign, and aspect. But yeah, any questions around any of this?
Earth in this.
Yeah. I mean, are you talking about from the human design perspective, or
So from an astrological perspective, Earth, are we including that as well in this?
I wouldn't necessarily I've never included Earth into a health reading before, but I'm willing to look at it. I would be interested in delineating what Earth might mean. Let's say if you had Earth in the 6th house, for example. I would be interested in delineating what that might mean. So I actually have not done that yet, but I'm willing to look into it. Too bad there's not a lot of information on Earth in astrology. But if you have Earth in the 6th house, I'd be curious on what that would mean. I might take its significations because Earth symbolizes 4 in numerology, and 4 is a significator of respiratory activity. So I might ask someone with an Earth in the 6th house about respiratory stuff and things having to do with nutrition. But to be honest, I have never done a reading of Earth in the 6th house in a health reading. I like that shit.
so by my calculations, Dennis has digestive issues. That literally is everywhere in your chart.
It is. With the B being a number, B being a life path 2, birth date 2, house in Cancer with the moon in detriment. Yeah.
I like how you brought that up, though. That was the next thing I was going to say with Dennis. I was going to use Dennis as an example, is how do we wrap this up with a nice bow? And you just did that, Nicole. So I like how your mind works. Yeah. Now, are you able to do that for yourself? Well, considering
Yeah,
my day is 2 and I have the moon in 6th house, I'm like, wait a minute.
correlation.
Yeah, that's how I was following along. So I'll try.
Yeah, that's interesting. So as a quick overview, right? So your birthday is 2. Also, you'd be your life path is always important. So talking about health as well. So that number you would take in consideration, and yeah, of course, the condition of the 1st and 6th houses. So yeah, but I got 2 in both my life path and my birthday position. So with me, it's just reinforcing the same things.
Right. Now, my life path is 8, so no reinforcement there. But with the digestive issues, I do have them, and I think that's, like you said, the day is 2, and then my moon is in the 6th.
Yeah, and my moon is the lord of the 6th, and it's in detriment. So yeah, it kind of gives the same kind of feel.
Has anybody else made any correlations with their numerology, astrology placements, or their human design? Feel free to share. Any questions if you want to help us tie it together for you.
Yeah, I've definitely made some. Just about everything that I am, and I don't like to use the word concern. Some of the things that have concerned me and that I've noticed lately is hair. And I'm used to having a head full of thick hair, and I'm noticing it thinning, and I'm having problems with like scalp and itching. And I'm looking, and my 6th, well, I got moon in Aries in my 6th house. And as I'm looking at Aries, I'm looking at Aries has to do with hair, blood, like face, teeth, and stuff like that, right? And so, and I don't have all of the breakdown, but trust me, I'm gonna get it between you and Dennis. I'm getting all the juice so that I can understand this. But then also I have Saturn in my 6th house that's in Taurus. And another thing that concerned me is the Neptune in the 1st house in Scorpio. Because, when you get to a certain age, and I'm reaching that age where I get concerned about things that never concerned me before. And again, as I'm kind of looking over the information that y'all just gave, I'm seeing, well, wow, okay, well, that's there in the 1st house, and that's why that's that, and that's why I'm concerned. So I am drawing a connection, long story short. So, and again, we can talk a little bit more offline, but I just wanted to just kind of get off and give my testimony on this.
Thank you, Vera.
Yeah, making those connections. Yeah, this is what we want. Like if you know your numbers, and if you have your charts in front of you, making those connections so you can see how the charts reflect each other, because it's really repeating themes. And 2, just getting to understand where in your chart some of these things have to be. And these things don't have to be critical illnesses. These could be little things. These could be, I've always had trouble with my neck. What is that? And then you see, oh, this is there, like Vera just did. So we just want you to make the connections between your chart and your health and things like that. And, and that will empower you to know more. And if possible, some of these things that may be going on. So yeah.
And you know what, Dennis, and I'm glad you said that, because I felt it in my spirit to say it, because even as I'm making the connection, I kept saying, okay, well, you know what, God didn't give you the spirit, the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and of a sound mind. So don't become fearful. Use this as knowledge, and start finding out what it is that you need to do to kind of take your body in the direction so that it can heal itself. Because the truth of the real matter is, like the whole honest to God truth, is that we're all on the same path between life and death. And just being able to have the information and to kind of, see things a little differently, do the things that you have to do, then this is actually a tool that can help you, not one that's meant to put you in fear. And the only reason why I say this is because from sitting in these rooms right here, right? I'm kind of known on one side of the app as, and these people just call me what they want to call me. They give me these titles. But, some of the high ranking apostles and prophets and, people of the church, they kind of see me and say, okay, that's prophetess, Vera Giles Norris. And I never put any titles in my name. I never profess myself to be anything except for who I am. But because I've sat in rooms like this to seek knowledge, and they'll pop in and they'll see me, I've had a couple of them not, befriend me, take their friendship away. And one of them, I just kind of laughed at, because I'm like, how do you get the audacity to judge me for sitting in a room to get knowledge for myself, right? And I can go down his row and tell him some of the things that he's done and things he's been through. But because I've sat in this room and said it on some of these platforms, you want to try to judge me. And so I really am probably just one phone call away from reading him. But I haven't did it yet. So I just wanted to say that I'm using this as a tool that I believe that's been a missing piece to help. It could have helped my mother if I would have known some of this stuff as we were battling and going through and just listening to the doctors that's only practicing themselves. So I'm going to end with that because I can get a little bit emotional with all of this, but I just wanted to throw that out there for free.
All right. Well, that's great. That's really great, man. Making those connections. And, I definitely agree with you. This is a way that we can be more conscious about what's going on with us, right? What is all this going on? Oh, that's where that's coming from. I get all these reactions when I see parts of my chart, because every time you look at your numbers or your other parts of your chart, you might see something new you ain't seen before. Like, that's where that's coming from. And so here, if I look at my chart, it does show what my health problems are. It does show it. So, along with the first and sixth, you want to look at the sun, like I did with the sun conjunct Neptune. So yeah, this is really good stuff. Does anyone else have any contributions or questions or things they want to discuss or toss out there?
Hey, so I'm like late beyond lateness, but I'm gonna go back and listen to this replay because it's a must. So I have two questions. So the first one's for Elaine. I see you have the designed sun up there. Is that what we're looking towards when it comes to health?
I did put the design sun up there because I want people to know we're talking about the design side.
Okay.
And the sun and the earth are not separate, meaning the same decimal point. What we're looking at for health on the human design perspective is the number after the decimal point. Now, it doesn't mean we're not looking at the whole number, like 32 in my profile. It's just that I'm not going to put too much information out here right now today, right? So I'm just giving you a little piece of the cake, which is to look at the design side, sun, because the number of the earth is going to be exactly the same when it comes to the decimal placement, right? So that's why I just chose this particular symbol, because you can see the word design, because I couldn't chop it for the earth. But I actually want to say this, Cosmic, for everybody in the room. The descriptions that I was giving about what each number represents actually comes from the earth, but I'm using the sun in my profile picture because it had the word design, and it would be easier for people to find, just to simplify things, right? Because I didn't want questions about, is the earth, it's just easier to get people focused on what we're talking about. But the actual decimal placement and the meanings, it goes like underneath, Scorpios like that kind of stuff, right? I took y'all deep into what the earth represents as far as your line. And the earth and the sun are not separate, meaning they are one coin, just two flip sides of the coin. So you're going to have to ground yourself in the earth. And we talked about that in another room with Dennis. So that's why I gave you those line meanings, is because that's how you ground yourself, right? So the line 1 is going to ground in their physicality and their bones. Line 2 is going to ground themselves in liquid and posture and flow and movement of all of that. Line 3 is going to ground themselves in the fire element of dynamic expressions and change and learning something new. And then line 4 is going to ground themselves in the breath and in the heart chakra and in the ability to connect with other people and develop friendships and relationships that are really core to their health and stability. And then line 5, using the power of way and the frequency that they have, protecting that frequency. And then line 6, their intent, the way in which you can literally turn on or off the different gene codes that you have in your DNA. The intent, using your vision, using your third eye, and changing where you've come from to seeing where you're going. That type of eagle eye. That's the 6th line. So that was a quick rundown on cosmic.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Okay, I have another question though, because I'm looking. I do have the one line for the Earth and Sun, right, on the design side, and so I was also looking at my first house, and it's full of Capricorn energy, like through and through. And so I know when I came in, Dennis was running through like the signs and stuff, and I know Capricorn was dealing with the bones, right? Okay, so I'm trying to piece this together. How does one ground in their bones? What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, that's a good question. It just means that you have to be an earthly being. You have to connect to physical things. Like, you would be the type of person that, health-wise, you may need to touch your food. Like even make it, cook food, like actually touching it. So the physicality of the bones is you have to be very much engaged with forms and structure. The bones represent structure. The bones represent form, because without our bones, what would happen if we didn't have bones? Right? Would we have structure? We would turn into blocks. Right? What would happen if you lost the bone structure in your face? Right? It would just look like this water balloon. Right? So that's what bones represent, is structure. So how do you ground in structure for your health? It could look like you creating literal structure for yourself in if you need structure for your sleep. If you need to tell yourself, I gotta be in bed by 10:30, wake up at 7:30. That could be something. It could look like I have to get out and walk 10,000 steps a day. It could look like building structures in that way for your health and wellness, or it could look like literally having to be connected to the earth, because the earth in and of itself is that physicality that you need, and playing in the earth or having some type of connection with nature on a regular basis if you're a line 1. And it's all about being able to hold yourself upright. So anything in your life that changes your posture and has you slouching, and if you don't even feel like you're able to stand upright, that's pretty problematic for a line 1.
Okay, thank you. You went in and you researched. I just came from outside. Actually, I was outside in nature when I was listening. So that's definitely on point. There are times where I just it's like this little whisper of my soul, and it's like, go outside. I'm like, okay, going outside. And so I just have to basically tune in and tap into that. And you just made me think because you said anything, causes me to slouch or like changes. Attention to that. That's everything. Yeah. And it's funny because like I was saying, like when it comes to all the Capricorn energy that's in my first house, it makes me think about the structure. It makes me think about the bones, right? And Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, all in my first and Cap. And I was listening to what Dennis was saying. And I know, Dennis, you said Neptune dealt with like sensitivity.
Also, I think sometimes if Neptune is conjunct something, it may weaken that area of the body, like we talked about the Sun conjunct Neptune, weakening the heart a little bit. So, yeah, Neptune is a kind of a softener there.
So, could I be saying that I have sensitivity like within my bones, though? Like within the joints and stuff?
It could be, and you also have Uranus there as well. They're all like conjunct.
Let me see.
Is it actually a conjunction aspect, or is it just kind of hanging out in that whole distant same sign shit? Well, which one is conjunct because it all matters to the soul in the first house, but I'm curious which one is actually conjunct Saturn, because that is the chart ruler.
So, this is going to go by degrees, right?
Yeah.
Saturn, because the Saturn is 24 degrees, Uranus a whole 8, so that's far, and Neptune is 14, so I don't think that's a conjunction.
No, it's not. No, those are pretty distant. The Neptune Saturn, that's a really weak conjunction, and it's Neptune, so I wouldn't necessarily call that a real conjunction. But yes, you've got the Saturn in the first house, the Capricorn, and so that is going to be something that, as Saturn, it controls aging as well. So normally I would say Saturn, as you get older, your bones and teeth and skin is going to be healthy if Saturn's well placed, and it's in its own sign in your particular situation. But you also have Neptune and Uranus there. So I would definitely, what's going on with your bones, also Capricorn is the skin. It can be the teeth as well as Taurus, things like that.
Okay. All right, cool. So I'm gonna look a little bit deeper into that. And even when I look at this from not just like whole signs, but if I switch it to going over to Placidus, that still makes sense, right? Because I was talking about like the digestive issues, and that from the other viewing it from the other way, it shows up with like Cancer being in my sixth house and that energy of those digestive issues. And I've dealt with digestive issues since I was 13. It was like something clicked on a switch and boom, shit just shifted. I don't know, it was weird.
It's the Lord of the sixth. If you got Cancer in the sixth, the Lord of the sixth is the moon.
Okay, so if we do Placidus, then the moon shows up, I want to say, this. And it's in Gemini.
Okay, yeah. We would definitely, that digestion in Cancer and the number 2 and all of that moon stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, okay, ligaments, tendons, and joints too. We talk about the joints, but the ligaments, tendons, look out for those things. Don't be knees, spleen, bones, some other things about Capricorn. So think about your knees, think about the health of your spleen, all those things that Capricorn controls.
All right, thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Dennis.
Good.
Yeah. Can I pour into a little bit more cosmic?
Yes, you can. I'm open to receive.
The reason I want to do this is because I want y'all to get a little bit of a taste of what could happen in a tag team meeting. Because what we're doing here, it feels like we're really getting this much
information, and if you knew it all, you'd be able to see, like, so how it all comes together. So for cosmic, I want to do a little bit of this because, you know, when I shared what your number is, right, the line, number 1, and its physicality, right, and as far as from the human design perspective, and the bones, I am like so glad we can see the example here of how many placements you have in Capricorn. You got Uranus, you got Neptune, you got Saturn, and your ascendant, right? And so you can see the connection there. And Capricorn, not just related to structure of your musculoskeletal system, but structure of yourself. It's in the first house, right? And as it relates to your body, now you have to start adding those planetary energies of Neptune. So Pisces can feel. So when you said, does this represent sensitivity of your bones? It can be with Neptune there for you, right? Not for everybody, but for you specifically, if we look at your chart, now you start adding Neptunian energy to the bone structure and your body, and you start seeing the way that you could receive insight, Uranus, right? You could be receiving epiphanies. You could be receiving the changes that you need for yourself and your life. And then you add Saturn to that, so this is where your work is, right? And when it goes deeper into the human design, and we're not just talking about the line, human design gives you the gate, it gives you the line, but then you underneath those, there's 3 more levels: color, tone, and base. I'm not going to tell you what all that means right now, but just using cosmic as an example, there's I think your color is, hold on, is it okay if I share this, cosmic? The variable,
yes, that's fine.
For you? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So your tone, okay, so remember what you said that like at 13 something changed for you?
Yeah.
Well, doesn't Saturn work in 7-year cycles, Dennis? Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Saturn have 7-year cycles? Dennis? Okay, well, I was just.
I want to say it does.
I think that I just want to be professional astrologer to confirm that. So, right at 13.
Wait, I didn't catch that. What you say?
Does Saturn have 7-year cycles?
It forms an aspect every 7 years. So,
right.
I mean, it goes through that. It goes through that 7-year cycle. Yeah, but of course, it's going to be 29.5 and whole. Yeah, it's in the 7-year cycles.
Right. I connected that because of how much Capricorn, and you have Saturn there in that Cap, right? In the first house. And we're talking about your health, and we're looking at the cyclical nature of what's going on with your health. So what happened at 13, which is right around that 14-year, second 7-year cycle? What happened, Cosmic?
My body started to reject dairy, like on any and every level.
Okay. Tell me if this resonates, because this is related to a quality going deeper into your human design. It's called feeling cognition. So tell me if this resonates. If something is off in your environment, you will know it. A sense of feeling picks up on this little energy of people or places that give off the frequency, because we're talking about line 5, right? So the frequency that people give off, you can pick up on physically. You feel that in your system, in your bones. And if you notice that feeling, it could feel like you're on edge. It could feel like your bones are shaking and you're unable to fully relax in your body. It could feel like information is trying to literally pull your body, like in a physical way. Your body may be pulled towards or away from something. And if you experience this, notice if you're picking up on that frequency or not. So does that resonate?
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, yes. It definitely does, Elaine. and even outside of just like the bones, the reason I had asked about Neptune sensitivity, because my body is so sensitive, like on all levels, to energy, to like just everything. And it seemed to have increased once I became more in tune with it, right? And it's like certain smells I can't be around. I can't use certain products on me. The energy of people or whatever it is in a space, I could walk in a space and my radar would go off like, no, you need to get out of here. This is not like abort mission. Like as soon as I walk into a room, I can tell if the energy in there is stuck or not. I don't even know how to explain it, but I can just feel it, right? And it's like, oh, that sensitivity is so real.
Where do you feel it? Do you actually feel it in your bones because you got Neptune hanging out in your Capricorn?
I mean, it's almost, I feel like I feel it in multiple places. It's like a full body experience, so to speak. So sometimes it can show up as a pain. Other times it can just be like this energy of like suffocation. So like if the energy within a space is like really heavy, or it's dense, or it's like say somebody just finished arguing in there, right, and that energy's left behind, and I walk into it, it's almost like walking into an energy of like suffocation. Like I don't know, like if you ever been in the South, because the air down here hit different. If you ever been in the South and it's got that heat, as soon as you walk outside, it almost takes your breath away. You're like, damn. So that's kind of like what it feels like when I walk into spaces. I can tell if the energy is heavy. I can tell if it's light. Like it's like, okay, what the fuck happened here? Like what's going on with this energy? I mean, I don't really know how to explain it other than that, but I feel it in several different ways. So whether it's hitting my body or just like this, my breathing is affected by it, or it's showing up as a pain, or like my body responds in a certain way. Like D-Lane was saying, it'll like pull me back, like, okay, let's get out of here. Like, let's get that U-turn, because this ain't where it's at kind of energy. So yeah, like the sensitivity within my body overall is real. And I want to add the other layer to that is not a lot of people understand this. And that's why I'm going to share it, Cosmic, because I think there needs to be a lot more flexibility for this type of sensitive human, because more of us are moving in that direction. The future human is to be more sensitive. And so what I wanted to say about your specific health as it relates to food and eating, it says that your food and digestion needs to be happening at night when the sunlight has gone down. And so most of what your digestion is able to better process is when you eat when the sun has gone down. So after 5, 6, 7, whatever, depending on where you are on the planet, right? Mm-hmm. But because you're so sensitive to energies, your solar plexus, where we have more nerves and more neurons in our solar plexus than we do in our brain, you're feeling that all day long. And so it's almost like
Hey, Ramsey. No, wait a minute. I can't hear you.
Because I'm trying to figure it out, because on here, everything you're writing is right. I want to see if you log in through mine.
You said, can I log in through yours?
Yeah, like if we jump on Zoom, if you type in your username password, and if you log in through mine, then you know it's your computer.
Okay, let's try it. I can jump on Zoom. Let me jump off so I can jump on. Let me end this.
Yeah. All right, cool. See you in a bit.
Okay.